Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's Cavazos here. I'm Anthony.
I'm Casey.
And today we are watching episode 2 of Tiger King.
Tiger King!
Very interesting show.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah. From what I have heard about this show, which I haven't tried to go into it too much, that it does progressively get crazier. So I'm very interested to see how that actually does take place. As I said in our previous reaction, we really only have experience or knowledge of this person or these people through memes. So it's been interesting trying to see it like now shaped together.
Putting a face to the meme.
Yeah, pretty much. Which we know the face now at this point.
Yeah. How could you not know the face of Joe Exotic?
Yeah. We were introduced to Carol fucking Baskin.
I know, this show's gonna make my East Texas come out. I mean, we just watched the first episode, but from what I'm getting, they're all a little wacky. And they're all like, seems to be kind of against each other, even though they're like all, I think I said it last time, they're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Carol and Joe.
Yeah. And then there's Doc, who's kind of there too, who's kind of part of it too, you know, like he's doing the same thing essentially too. Like they all just have different buildings or operations of their business, but they're all doing the same thing. So
yeah, that's why I actually kind of did agree in the previous episode where they kind of mentioned that Carol was a little bit of a hypocrite there too. I did see in some of the comments, I guess like the one thing that might be different is the fact that she's actually not breeding them. But it's still, in that same sense, they're still both taking advantage of animals.
Yeah.
It's just a weird fine line.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on camera, but it's one thing to rehabilitate them, and then it's one thing to, like, exploit them. So.
Yeah.
I feel like, from what I've seen of Joe, it seems like he really does, like, love and care for his animals, or, you know, at least he feels like the special connection. Carol, I would assume she does, too, because she's, like, crazy obsessed with them, but she's, like, kind of crazy cat lady.
And, yeah, she doesn't wear anything that isn't cat print, it seems like.
But I would hope that they all do genuinely love and care for their animals, but, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out. Well, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you can stay notified for all of our future videos, and let's jump right into it.
Got an employee that was attacked by a tiger, and he's hurt bad.
The arm is completely gone. We do not have time to wait.
Oh my god.
What?
He must be in like in shock right now.
Take a sweep through the park and make sure there's no other customers somewhere else in the park, please.
I'm like about to cry. Like, I'm like in shock.
Ladies and gentlemen, before you hear it on the news, I'm going to tell you myself. About an hour ago, we had an incident where one of the employees stuck their arm through the cage and a tiger tore her arm off. I can give you your money back, or I can give you a rain check. Why don't you come back at another date?
You want to come back? Here's some coupons.
Yeah.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
That's your primary concern right now?
I seen how much they blew it up into this horror story that I felt like the best thing to do was get right back to work.
I don't know if I can
I was
go
back
back
on the
to
park
work.
in 5 days after my amputation.
5 days
It
after?
was a total of 7 days in the hospital.
My attitude is nothing can bring me down, and it's really easy to do that here, Rick, and you know this because I work with a man that also has no legs.
It actually happened from a zipline accident.
Ooh, that's kind of scary too.
Feet landed on my feet, crushed my feet.
What the
broke my
hell?
hip, broke my back, tore all my insides up.
It's hard to explain the addiction of exotic animals.
Why is there a little dog in there? Ah! This is a whirlwind of emotion. Then here he is with his elephant in the suburb. He's like, hey. What are you
Look
doing?
at
A
them.
dog? Did you see the dog?
No.
Like, I want that cat.
Nothing is cooler, sexier, and more significant to the world we live in today than a tiger.
Nothing is sexier than the...
I bring more tigers than anybody in the country.
Breeding was his whole thing. The whole idea was to keep baby tigers being born.
If people are concerned about tigers, they should be donating their money to places like mine, where we breed them. Number one, they're an endangered species. Duh, what's the first thing you should do to protect an endangered species? Make more, not eliminate the source.
Open up the snakes, stick bags of cocaine inside of them, stitch them back up, and not really care if the snake lived or died. It's just to get it in there.
Oh my... What?
Why
That's
is it so hard to get into these
fucked.
places?
Yeah.
Back then, I sold drugs to maintain my animal habit.
Animal habit?
This book is Dog Anto, actually. Vagabond Dog Anto. What kind of doctor is he?
Mystical science.
Mystical science?
Mystical science?
Who's that?
I don't know.
One of his wives.
One of his wives. I like that answer.
He's very eccentric. Like,
he has multiple
How many
wives.
wives does he have?
I would say he has 3.
Oh. He has 3 wives.
Well, he has 3 or 4.
Nobody knows exactly how many.
He has like 9 wives.
How many wives does Doc Antle have?
I don't fucking care.
Why is he a mood?
This is me when I first got there.
She was so young.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you choose to call him Bhagavan? Is that how everyone?
That's what we called him.
Bhagavan, which means what?
Lord.
What?
Lord.
Bhagavan means that you're a friend of God.
Bhagavan is the master of the universe. It's the all-knowing, all-seeing kind of guy.
Like really kind of like a cult. It feels like a lot like it.
If they wanted to get to the top really quickly, they should sleep with him. I certainly didn't want to sleep with him, but I was thinking about it.
It's like Negan and the Saviors.
They were virgins or close to virgins.
What the fuck?
He would become that sex partner for them, the first, and then they would be bonded to him in this way, where he felt like he could get them to do anything.
What the fuck?
His touch brings them up to his level of enlightenment.
Yeah, no, just saying about that.
When I met him, I had 2 husbands, whatever you want to call them. He
2
had 3
husbands?
girlfriends or wives.
I guess so.
Privately owned? Ah!
I am 19 years old and I am from Southern
19?
California. And I am tall, tan, and beautiful.
Joe immediately is like love struck by this.
Straight on you. And he goes, pretty straight. And I said, do you watch porn?
What?
He says, yeah. I said, well, do you enjoy the guy with the little one doing her, or do you enjoy watching the guy with the big one doing it? And he says, well, obviously you want to watch the guy with the big one. Well, you ain't that straight.
Go with love. You may now kiss.
You know.
I enjoy being around Joe and John and
So are
all
they
the
all
animals.
still married?
I think what's going on around here is great.
They haven't shown a current interview with him, right?
The only survivors here look at it that they're getting to do something they like, and that it's not a job, it's a lifestyle they have dove into.
We worked so hard for so long.
How much do people get paid?
$100 a week. $100 a week.
What?
Good morning.
The hell?
It's a fucking cult.
Oh, thank you
Like,
for coming.
that's crazy.
I don't pay anybody to do animal care because people will do that for free.
Carol Baskin of Big Cat Rescue has an army of people working for free.
She is not a stupid woman. She makes everybody else do her dirty work.
I hope they're volunteers.
Because we're going to have so many people here today. Our volunteers wear a color-coded shirt system.
Red shirts primarily function as like your beginner, like keeper trainees and partner trainees.
You get all your classes done and you can apply for yellow shirt.
It takes about almost a year to get your yellow. Then you have to have your yellow for a full year.
So all these people just work for her for free for all this extended period of time?
And it goes by so quickly.
Kind of
What?
After they've been here for like 5 years or so, they can graduate to a master keeper.
And they, do they get
That's a navy
paid
blue.
then?
There's royal blue.
I'm actually an intern, work 6 days a week, 12-hour days, basically fast-pacing through the volunteer program.
Are you super hands-on with the interns?
See them in the jungle.
What's up with everyone doing music videos? What the fuck?
On the plane. How beautiful, wild,
It seems fake. Like, it doesn't seem real.
It's a little bit cheesy.
But it almost looks like it's intentionally made that way.
High quality social media.
High quality?
Using tons of teenage children to devote their days and times to the cause that she has.
So we went to this little airport outside of Tampa and rented a
Fly
helicopter
over it?
and flew over Big Cat Rescue.
He wanted to get footage of the cages and the enclosures and all of that, but he had clearly done it to antagonize us.
Gave him a lot of really bad ideas. He was talking about dropping grenades,
What?
pulling the pins and just dropping them out of the helicopter.
What the fuck?
I had my name legally changed to Bala for many years.
Legally?
Changing your name is a very quick way to change everything else about you. They were pushing me to get implants, which I don't remember agreeing to.
It's not every day that you're asked to have a job where you can't take any time off, because people do have lives and they do have families outside of creating.
You're leading me down a road where people are just gonna say you have to join a fucking cult to be a tiger trainer. Promise you. Been here 35 years. Heard it all forever.
You said it.
He pays his staff $150 a week.
$20 a day.
For 12 hours. 10 to 12 hours every day of work, yeah.
$150 a week?
$138.26 to be precise.
Does not add up though. What year was this?
He's probably gonna get me in trouble. Staff was world's worst about going through the Walmart truck. You know, to render it, it needs to go to the cats, but they would go through it and get them something to eat.
One air conditioner for the entire thing. It could be 120 degrees in there at night. That was the nice one.
Oh my god. So they did not have any good freaking living conditions, and they didn't get proper food?
Fuck.
What is that?
Rat.
They were treated so abusively.
You don't even pay anybody though.
I
So
know,
shut up.
everyone is doing screwed up shit.
He was a good tiger.
What happened to him?
We didn't really ask because he's like, I know where they go.
There's always been a rumor out there that Doc Antel euthanizes his cubs when he's done with them.
We've had whistleblowers come to us and say that they've heard a gunshot in the middle of the night and the next day there's no cat. But they don't know where the cat went. And I think that these people are smart enough to only use their very closest circle of people that they've got good dirt on that they would use to dispose of a body, because it takes a few people to lift a big cat, unless you part them out right there, I guess.
No way, no way.
She thinks she's the Cleopatra of big cats. And to tell you the truth, she's not that good. And anytime anybody attacks her, she goes after them with her millions. She inherited it from her husband that's dead and missing for years.
What?
Wait. How does someone's husband just go missing? Like they just go
The
missing?
one in the video?
Carol Baskin's full of shit, in my opinion. She's got a missing husband that's supposedly buried in her property. And that's a real true story.
What?
Her husband disappeared.
All these fucking people
The
are
lady
crazy.
who runs Big Cat Rescue, who seems, in my opinion, to be completely out of her gourd, and seems, in my opinion, to have killed her own husband potentially.
Carol Baskin's third husband. And they can't find his body.
What the fuck?
For them to speculate that I fed him to the tigers, which is crazy.
She doesn't seem like...
And Mike says his children from a previous marriage and former secretary have been quoted as saying that they believe Carol fed him to a tiger.
What the fuck? This episode was worlds of different from the first one.
I don't care. They're all insane. You got freaking Doc over there who's like recruiting like these like teenage girls and just like keeping them for like 20 fucking years, like working for him for like what, $100 a week? I mean, not that Joe Exotic is paying that much more, like 134 after taxes, I guess. I don't fucking know. And like horrible living conditions.
Yeah.
You know, at first I thought like, you know, when he was giving out money and like, you know, was giving a place to work and like a place to stay, I was like, oh, you know, I can respect that. But like the conditions of what
Like,
they're living in is like horrible.
It's like they have no other options. So
no
they
air
have to
condition,
live
rats, no running water,
and they have to pick through like the leftovers. Which,
expired meat.
yeah.
Well, you know, I'm
mean,
pretty
like,
sure some of it is still technically you know,
good.
edible. Yeah, it's
but like
good
that
to
shouldn't
eat.
be your only food source. You know, like
No.
you might get that because it's on sale, but not because that's what you have to eat. So.
Yeah. Man, it's hard to like anyone like in this show. In all honesty,
I'm still kind of shocked by like Carol. She said that you know like they don't pay their employees, or she was talking about that they treat them bad, but like her volunteer programs, which I know like places have volunteer programs and that's fine, but like you can tell she's manipulated it almost like you have to work for 5 years and like level up into your next shirt till you complete the program, and I'm like, that just doesn't seem right to have to volunteer for 5 years to work your way up the ladder. You know, like if you volunteer for years, you're doing it because you want to, not because you're trying to get ahead.
So I'm like really kind of confused by people's, like, I'm not trying to say this in a negative sense, but like, I don't understand if it's fascination with like exotic animals, what's keeping people to like, you know, because, you know, hers is viewed as like a rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Hers is viewed as a rescue, so I think a lot of people think that they're doing good.
Yeah.
But like what? And then these girls too coming to docks, and like I understand, I guess maybe the Joe's people, because, you know, he's picking them up off the street and he's giving them stuff to do. But like, why are these people staying there for this long? Is it just the fascination of like these exotic animals?
I think it's different for each one. Like,
Yeah.
I think for Carol's, they think that she's doing like the best one in the industry, and obviously she talks so much shit about everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, she makes herself seem like she's more knowledgeable. Doc's is a little bit different because it can be different. Like, when, especially if you're like the victim of a situation like that, it can be difficult to leave that situation, especially if that's all you know, and like he has them working.
They were going there
all
so
day.
young.
Yeah, like when
17.
you're working
That one girl
somewhere
started.
like 8 a.m. to midnight, it's like you have no other life, and it could be like crazy, like scary to think about just like up and leaving that. You
Yeah.
don't know what you would do, especially you went there when you're 17.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like, you know, the basis of like, you know, you see cults
And then,
and stuff form.
and then Joe, I mean, his is kind of similar in the sense that he has like people who are ex-criminals who maybe can't get a job anywhere else,
Yeah.
and
And he
like,
could convince straight men to marry him too, apparently. So that was kind of crazy.
And I guess, I mean, Carol did say something, which I'm not a fan of Carol lately. But she did say something that I agree with. She said that they like have these animals and it almost like lures people in,
Yeah.
So, but she's doing the same thing though with her animals. And also, did she kill her husband? What the fuck?
A lot of fucking people think that she does.
What?
Or she did.
So I think I saw somewhere that like on a meme that this was the Game of Thrones of the tiger world or
Yeah.
something like, and I was like, what are you talking about? There's no way this could be Game of Thrones like. It's kind of like Game of Thrones.
I saw a meme where it's like I did actually see like the three people at the wedding, like Joe Exotic and his two husbands, but I didn't know that it was a wedding.
Yeah.
Like but I saw it said like, I'm gonna tell my kids that these were the Dallas Cowboys. So I saw that one, but I didn't know the context that they were actually getting married there.
Just crazy. How
yeah.
could it, like, apparently it gets crazier? I don't know how it could get crazier.
This episode was pretty fucking nuts.
I know.
Like, I
This
don't.
was, like, so much happened. It felt like it went on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It wasn't 2 hours long. I didn't know where I was.
It's just like the further and further we got down the rabbit hole, it seemed like the worse and worse it got.
I know.
Like I was like, wait, what?
Like
What?
one thing after
What?
another.
Like it was just like
they didn't make any of these people. They didn't tell you all the stuff at the first episode. We thought-
nobody looked good after this. Not a single person.
So is that husband that was Carol's husband that was on the previous tapes? That was him, right?
I think
Or
so.
is this
Yeah, it looked like
different?
him. No, it looked like the guy who was sitting there watching the music video with her.
Right.
At least that's what I mean. I'd
Or
have
is
to go
this
back
a
and
different
rewatch it.
husband? I didn't.
They didn't really talk about him, so I just saw. They looked like they were holding hands, if I remember correctly. So
I wonder. I guess it was that. Maybe that was old footage, or maybe this was a different husband. I don't know.
Well,
I guess we'll see. And
here's-
hopefully it clarifies it.
here's another thing too, because everyone was saying that like they think that she killed her husband, but she didn't really talk about her husband. She just really playing with words a lot, saying like, "Oh, that's what people like to say,"
Yeah.
but you're not denying it. Like, and you
your
don't look very sympathetic to
say,
the
like,
idea that your husband went
yeah,
missing.
like if someone brought up your missing, presumed
Presumed
dead
dead.
husband, you think you would be like,
Show a little bit more
Not like-
sympathy, like,
yeah.
or
I mean, I don't know how long it had been. And also, I really hope Doc doesn't shoot his animals.
Yeah.
Because that's so messed up. You say, and you put off this whole thing, all three of them put off this whole thing that they love animals so much and they're helping them and they're taking care of them. But then, like, it seems like nobody really does care about them. So yeah, this has just been crazy. A lot going on. And usually I say, like, I'm excited for the next episode, but, like, I don't know what to expect
Yeah.
anymore.
All right, guys. Well, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you can stay notified for all of our future videos.
And also, we do have our full-length reactions, bloopers, exclusive content, things like that over on our Patreon, and the link is down below in the description. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye!